Alright, folks, welcome back and welcome to what will be, one way or another, the final game of the Premier League Season 5 Radiance Cup. The cup is within reach of both Virtus.pro and Alliance. One could argue that VP need it more. They haven't won any of the cups thus far. Alliance is just defending their title in, I think, the Demon Edge Cup, which was the third. But both teams have put together an amazing series so far, and honestly, I don't know if I can say if one is favored or the other. I, of course, being Vykromond, blazes out this week. He unfortunately, well, I keep saying unfortunately, but it's not such a bad thing to be off on an anniversary vacation. But fortunately, you do have some continuity because my friend and co-caster TriumphOfMan is here. Triumph, I'm going to put you on the spot before you even start talking. Call a winner before even looking at this draft.
Alliance. Aki's got Chen.
He does have Chen. That's certainly true.
That said, I mean, game one, he had Chen and he got destroyed. I don't think they'll let the same mistakes fall twice, so they're not going to get caught out again by that.
And they do.
I mean, they were on the ball against. Like they expected the offensive try and then rotated to anticipate the offensive try. Didn't happen, so again rotated straight back.
That's true. Good positioning in the end by Alliance there, and some great late-game team fights where, honestly, VP, I think, was within a hair's breadth of actually taking out this series 2-0. It was close. I mean, They got to they were in a rough position early, then they stabilized, then they got way ahead very, very briefly, and then the Rapier, they kissed goodbye to it, unfortunately. And Tay My Wild, I think he's sick of playing this utility mid in the Windrunner. He's had his team secure himself a Queen of Pain's second pick. What does this change about our situation?
Well, this is Queen of Pain get a lot more. Like Windrunner's nice. She's got, like you said, she's more of a utility though. It doesn't have that huge killing power. Queen of Pain is where you can just go, oh, screw everything. I'm just going to carry my team through this and destroy. And we saw it in the earlier games where we had what was his face from Z-Rage, just carry the crap out of the game. Play Medvec, play a really big Queen of Pain, and that's the kind of hero that can get super aggressive. So we might see that get rolled out this time around. That said. Wow, okay. Loda will not be playing Phantom Assassin. I mean, obviously we get the Phantom Assassin picked every now and then. I didn't really think she was ban-worthy material, so Virtus.pro decided, you know what, let's just knock that off. Maybe a throwaway ban, who knows?
Interesting. I mean, Lotus certainly does play the PA, but they actually have Batrider already on the field. Bulldog does play Batrider occasionally, but more likely than not, this is going to be S4 Batrider, and then he's not going to go Magnus. And no Magnus means PA, she's still good, but she's not that great without either Empower or something like IO.
Oh, yeah, I suppose. I mean, unless they had something silly in mind, we'll see. I agree with you. I really, really doubt PA would have been picked up here, especially since like PA is sort of really hit and miss. Whereas, like, if you get behind on her early on, it's very difficult to come back from that. It's even worse than, say, being expected because you don't have that map mobility.
Yeah.
Whereas, if they were going to pick up something solid, like if they were going to pick up safe, sort of semi-carry, it would have been the lifesteal because you need basically armlet, and then you're good to cause a ton of damage. Maybe you won't live as long as you like, but you can get the damage out, which is the main thing.
Sure.
As long as you got the mobility, and it's a hero that works really well with the Batrider too, just because he has a deliverance. But Juggernaut being banned, interesting choice.
They took some time.
Yeah.
And it's because they had a tough choice. Juggernaut. So the Lifestealer is kind of non-negotiable. He's too strong. If you don't want him personally, and VP... actually, they had the first pick coming out of this, but clearly Alliance didn't want the Lifestealer, because they could have had it if they wanted it. But the Juggernaut was Juggernaut or Naga. And these are two heroes VP loves. They can make a lot happen with the Jug. The Jug is also hard to predict because VP have run him as a support before. They've actually had Arsart as the high damage Juggernaut. And they've had Airman, who actually, he has some of the wackiest Juggernaut builds this side of anything. I've seen him go 1 in Blade Fury and just max crit and stats ASAP for maximum hard carry. I've seen it, man. I wouldn't lie to you.
All right.
I wouldn't lie to you.
Wow.
This was in the TPL Season 4 playoffs, actually, so it wasn't some throwaway game. Yeah, he's definitely aggressive, but honestly, the Naga was the other choice, and Alliance are consciously leaving her available here. In the lobby before Game 1, Loda actually gave a little bit of a shout-out to Virtus.pro's Naga. He's not happy about it, and I think VP pretty likely to take it here, but Alliance, actually, the Train Protector, it didn't serve them well Game 1. Do you see it doing better this time?
Just a small diversion before we go into that. Is it bait? I mean, Alliance Loader, they do weird stuff, and from his time in Zenith, they do some really weird baits. So, is it bait? Do they? And especially since they've left the Naga on the board, are they asking to pick it up? Who knows? But Treant, I think this depends whether or not Virtus Pro. I mean, is it bait that they pick? Like they say, go ahead, pick an aggressive tri because Trent. I mean, we've seen this crush so many times. It's the offensive tri lane really ruins his day. And the Chen again. Chen and Trent Protector. How do they protect the guy that they're meant to be looking after?
Right. It's going to be difficult if VP... Now, keep in mind, VP has to draft their tri-lane right the hell now. They have neither element. These first two picks were no part of the tri-lane. So they have to decide, do we let the Naga go and then probably get banned? Do we... Dragon Knight. Could be low to Dragon Knight. He goes things like Armlet and Sanjin Yasha on this hero. We'll have to see. Obviously, the other option is Bat Rider for Bulldog, S4 on the Dragon Knight. But... VP, they have to start figuring out, do they want their support right now, or do they want the Naga Siren? I think if they let Naga Siren go, Alliance bans it. Bait or no bait, I don't know. Man, we've been casting so long, I'm actually hearing Song of the Siren noises, like, in my ears. I think it's, like, the onset of tinnitus, but I feel like Naga Siren's gonna happen. I have faith.
Yelling too loud.
Yeah, maybe.
It's me yelling too loud. I agree what they're doing here. Get the supports first, because they're flexible. Wait and see what the last couple of bans are, and then decide on the carry and whether or not, because I mean, you pick the carry, you can just stick it in the safe lane, look after it if you don't want to run the defensive lane. But then if you decide to, you can go offensive. I think getting the two solid supports, because I mean, the supports are more important, I feel, than the carry. You can pick just about any carry, and it'll do well in the end if you buy them that time to farm. Yeah,
even if you don't get Naga Siren, there's plenty of options. There have been quite a few carry bans. Obviously, Lone Druid to some extent, PA, which they probably wouldn't go for anyway, Gyrocopter, Lifestealer, Juggernaut. That's 3 carries VP loves. But they still got options. Airman has a pretty wide hero pool that he's comfortable with, so a wealth of things, and honestly, what doesn't go well with Rubik Leshrac? Everything goes well with Rubik Leshrac. They're an ideal condiment for your aggressive tri-lane.
Yeah, I mean, 2 stuns, couple of nukes, and Naga starting the final ban. So, I mean, you mentioned the 3 carries they would like, Juggernaut, Lifestealer, and Gyrocopter all banned, and then the Naga on top of it. Weaver, the final ban, though, from Virtus Pro.
Interesting. I mean, it's a great combo with Triant, of course. And VP...
I mean, crap, if they wanted to, it could just be an Alchemist. You've got a 3rd stun in there, and Acid Spray is annoying.
I think
Minus
the Weaver,
3 armor.
I gotta say, I think the Weaver's the right ban. And VP, I'm actually glad they don't take the Weaver. I've seen VP run Weaver unsuccessfully way too many times, especially as part of a tri-lane. If you don't snowball, suddenly the hero is really disappointing. Like, you can either go for push with something like Dezo, but then you don't have much of anything else, or you try to go the fast Lincolns. It's amazing with Triant, I'm just not convinced by it otherwise. So, banning it, taking it away from Alliance, of course, I don't know how much Bulldog plays Weaver, if at all, but I don't know. He could go Bat Rider, S4 Dragon Knight, Loda Weaver, that could be pretty scary.
You want something funny? Use a Queen of Pain in the offensive tri-lane and then put OD in the mid, just to really make everybody unhappy.
Ooh.
I think that could work.
But could Alliance go OD, actually?
Ooh.
No, Mirana instead.
Hello.
Maybe they smell... Maybe they think this could have been, what you're saying, an aggressive tri-lane Queen of Pain, and then Warlock mid, and the Mirana tries to forestall that? That's... I don't know about Mirana, man. She's good, but it's hard to say how good just yet.
And there we go. It's the Alchemist.
Okay.
Is this aggressive? We'll see. I would like to see aggressive. I mean, with the triple stunts, Mirana, she's survivable, but 3 stuns. If she gets too close to Rubik, lift, split up, and then cocktail, she's done.
Yeah,
and she's not tough enough.
I agree.
So, I mean, I think they could quite easily justify going aggressive, put KSI in the safe lane, and he'll do okay against the Bat Rider. He might get picked off maybe once if he's unlucky, but he should be just fine to CS at a distance. And he can harass the Bat Rider too. I mean, a lot of people underestimate exactly how annoying those treants are. If you just create some treants and then run them at the Bat Rider, he can't really clear them quickly unless he wants to start burning Fireflies, and that's a lot of mana plus his escape mechanism down.
That's a great point. All right, folks. It's time. It's time for Game 3. Draft phase is done. We're getting into the game. Tweet about it. Tell your friends. We are going to have 2 of the best teams in the West going at each other's throats in the decisive game in the grand final. Yeah, I got it, actually. But that's a fair cop. VP, let's go ahead and introduce these guys as they barrel down with a smoke gang to try to start this off. We've got Airman, Illidan Stormrage on the Alchemist. We've got Arsard on his signature hero, Leshrac, that we've seen do great work already so far in today's games. NS on the Rubik, he's been the anchor for this team so far, and he's going to be probably doing a lot of work once again. Tame My Wild, no longer on that utility Windrunner, he will be piloting the Queen of Pain, and actually KSI hanging back, but he's the only one who's going to be on the same hero 3 times. He goes on that Nature's Prophet once again.
Somebody's about to curb stomp. I think they can see him. They know that they're actually. I think they're worried, or maybe not worried enough. Here we go. Here comes the lift. Mirana gonna need to skill that leap, or she's in some serious danger. There, where he skills it and gets stuck. Or do they realize? Self-stun here. Virtus Pro are going to smack themselves. But just to call out the Virtus Pro lineup while they're not actually killing anybody, we do have NS playing the Rubik, Illidan playing the Alchemist, KSI on the Nature's Prophet, Tamar Wild there in the Queen of Pain, and Arsat.
I think I just got VP, so we've now introduced them twice, revealing our
that's
deep,
my
deep
bad.
bias.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's fine. I think I got Alliance.
Why don't you go ahead and do Alliance?
I'm retarded.
No,
I feel
don't
really
say
dumb
that.
now. Anyway, so Alliance, S4 the Dragon, Aki playing Chen, no surprise, Loda playing Mirana, EGM on Trian, and Admiral Bulldog on that Batrider. Never go full retard, kids.
Whoa.
You don't look good.
Hey. Calm down now. Alright, so Bulldog is Batrider. Do VP, you think, actually just try to pressure him constantly and get Bulldog no farm? And that would give up the aggressive try? Or do they just rotate down after trying to kill this guy and go back to the ag try? I'm not sure, actually.
I think they've looked at this lineup and said, you know what, that's not a super duper late game lineup there. I mean, Dragonite's nice, Mirana's nice if they get, like, she gets an absolute arseload of farm, but I don't know if they'll get that. I think they just figured, you know what, let's get a greed build going on Alchemist and get completely out of control. I don't think they can stand up to the Alchemist if he goes late game, like if he goes super fat late game.
Sure.
And, you know, we were complimenting on Virtus Pro for a while, playing it calm, playing it safe. This would be the safer route than the offensive Triumph because, I mean, you get a couple of bad arrows and suddenly you're getting people picked off. Or if you get jumped by Chen even.
Certainly, Arrow can foil the best laid plans. With a good long-distance arrow, could just completely turn a gank upside down. That said, I feel like if they leave this Treant lane alone, Alliance are going to feel so comfortable in this early game. I mean, S4, Dragon Knight, not by any means a favored matchup against Queen of Pain, but he's going to feel so much better that he has that living armor available. The Treant isn't getting pressured to use it on his own lane. I never expect EGM to use living armor in his own lane unless VP makes some sort of major rotation. He's going to be using it on Bulldog. He's going to be using it on S4. Here comes NS just harassing Bulldog back, but Bulldog, hey, I've got living armor. Don't touch me.
We'll see. That said, KSI, I mean, this is also the other thing. They have the KSI farming in the jungle, so not only will it just be Alchemist who's going to be stupidly fat as well, but if they try, like, Alliance need to put the pressure on 15, 20 minutes, 25 minutes, all times that they need to put the pressure on, start taking towers, start getting, most importantly, map control and preventing Virtus Pro from farming, because that's when they'll really need to be on the ball. The problem is, though, they don't have that huge team fight potential. They've got a couple of good lockdowns, but their burst damage is not there. Mirana's got Starfall, and they've got a Flame Breath, but that's about it for burst damage. Whereas you're up against a Queen of Pain, you're up against Arsitis Leshrac. We saw exactly how dominating that can be. Big stuns there from Alchemist, and I mean, if you're trying to get into a team fight, fighting other people under it. In some serious trouble there. Bulldog. There comes KSI as well. Ports in, but Living Armor is going to try and go in the opposite direction. He's being slowed down pretty heavily though, trying to escape. And there were Edict though, going to bounce as they get the first blood against him. Bulldog somehow getting away, but will be finished off in the end there.
Wow.
First blood going against him.
Barely even getting a consolation prize for VP there. They lose first blood. Bulldog, I mean, the Satyr Tormentor did its dirty work there. It saw 3 people and it was like, hey, I want to play. Throwing out that, honestly, that ball made a big difference. It brought Arsart very, very low. Of course, Bulldog doing the very sensible thing of ducking into the giant stacked creep wave to diffuse the effect of the Diabolic Edict a little bit. So that saved him, frankly, and he lived for much longer than he probably should have, and that gives him critical levels.
I'll be honest, that was a risky. I'm surprised he just didn't go down the cliff. Like,
well,
that was a risky
Firefly.
play from them. Oh, that's right. Oh, sorry.
He didn't have it. He was level 1. Oh, Tamar Wild. There is the Dragon Tail. The Center Conqueror barely has it. Actually, he did get him with the Dragon Breath, and all of a sudden, VP not feeling so good about the decision not to pressure Alliance early, as Alliance are the ones on the front foot with that very nice gank coming from actually the Dire jungle loop around from Ake.
Pressure's definitely good. The thing that worries me, like in the mid-game, they really will be relying on Chen. Aki needs to be very careful that he doesn't get blasted in the middle of those fights, because they will need that heal there, because otherwise Tamar Wild and Queen of Pain, a lot of burst damage there. That's very scary, so they will need to watch out for that. And if Illidan farms like crazy, as soon as he gets the early Shadow Blade, suddenly it's really difficult to push, because you've always got to worry. Are we being watched? Is that guy charging up a big cocktail to then blow somebody to pieces?
Great point. Nice, actually denied there. Dragon Knight does not get access. NS barely in time, but he manages to auto-attack that DD rune away, and that's suffering for S4. He's not going to be happy. And I've been listening to what you're saying about the balance of the game, and I completely agree. I feel like in some respects it comes down to how well S4 does, because you talk about how they don't have that much damage, and I completely agree. Mirana, until she gets like 3 items, is not an auto-attack damage source, but if they can hit a fast level 16 for S4, or even 11, he's going to be dealing a lot of AoE damage solely by virtue of being Dragon Knight and being in the fray. Or to the fray, as it were.
I think the difficulty is going to be, like, getting me out of town is not going to be too much of an issue. The issue is going to be holding the map control and then not getting caught out in a bad team fight in the jungle.
Good point.
I think that's going to be their trouble, because they can lose the towers and Virtus Pro cannot care too much, because as long as they get the early Shadowblade and Alchemist, he's always able to sort of rage up and sort of piss bolt if he needs to.
Absolutely.
And if they can get... If Nature's Prophet gets the Hex early on with the Midas, he can actually just port in and help out as well. And one big stun and Nature's Prophet jumps in, suddenly things can turn around very quickly.
EGM here, the quintessential number 5 role right now. Treant Protector, 5 minutes in the game, still doesn't have a single item to his name. The tree has been stripped bare, basically, of all of its branches, at least for now, but he has a decent amount of gold. He's doing a bit of jungling, so I don't expect Treant Protector to be stuck at no items for too long, thankfully.
Yeah, I think he's just saving straight up. I think he just wants that Arcane Boots, to be honest. And Dragon Knight's going to want that as well. He really will need that to help him out with the mana issues.
Sure. And it has to be said, even though Loda a little bit ahead on terms of last hits, if you look at the GPM, I mean, Airman is going very confidently Greevil's Greed heavy. He's, what, level 6 right now? He has 3 in Greevils. I kind of expect him to go, though. Oh, here's Bulldog in trouble. Where's the Split Earth, though? They actually don't use it. Unstable Concoction sets it up. Finally, they get the Split Earth. Where will Bulldog juke that can possibly save him here? Nowhere. The last hit comes out for Leshrac. They clear out this creep wave that Bulldog so desperately wanted, and not having the greatest time. He got the first blood, but other than that, he's been pressured pretty effectively.
I'm a little bit interested that I thought Illidan, if he's just going to buckle down with the Greed, but I figured he might go for the Midas. Mirana actually went for the Midas, which I think she's definitely required. She needs this to keep up for sure.
Sure.
With the Alchemist, but I think he would go for one as well to sort of stay ahead. Then maybe he'll go for one next. Who knows? We'll see. He is actually sitting on 1,500 gold. He might make his decision. If he gets ganked, he might say screw it and just get his Shadowblade up and running.
That's true. He could also, I mean, if he has gone heavy Greevils, in keeping with that, Midas is an option, but the Chinese-style Battle Fury is also an option that we maybe shouldn't discount.
I suppose, yeah. It gives him good farming capability, allows him to blast through lanes pretty quickly, as well as stack camps and stuff. So yeah, no, I could see that. I could definitely see that as well.
They have seen the Midas from Loda, and now they see the fact that he's going to get the last hit on that tower. So this is a Mirana that's keeping up on farm, doing quite well for herself, almost actually matching the Chaos Knight the Alchemist pound for pound, especially with that tower last hit. And Ake, he wants to get Tame My Wild again. They want to start stacking up the deaths on this Quap. They want to make this seem like game 1, except trade the roles of S4.
Oh yeah. She also mentioned Claymore picked up the Alchemist, so it looks like they are going for the Shadowblade. I mean, obviously, it could still be the Battle Fury, but I really doubt it.
I doubt it, you're right. I think it's more likely to be just straight for that Shadowblade. The Centaur Conquerors making their presence felt. Maybe Alliance seek to parlay this into a push. They do have the ultimate for S4. Of course, that Corrosive Breath now available for pretty much a while. I mean, until he hits level 16 and gets his level 3 ultimate. So S4, the siege begins and Living Armor is up. Keep in mind, he's got that longer Dragon Tail range. Meanwhile, Ake lifted up the Split Earth, but the Centaur Conqueror is dealing tremendous damage. Actually, the Dragon Tail, Dragon Breath, and an auto attack, enough to trade Arsart for Ake. And KSI, there's the Sprout. S4 in a little bit of trouble. Uses Dragon Tail again. These are some smart Dragon Tails, but the Sonic Wave mops it up, vacuums that Dragon Eye right up into the maw of the Queen of Pain, and that gets her on the board for 2 kills. VP now feeling a lot more confident than they were 3 minutes ago, I think.
Oh, definitely. Of course, so Bulldog halfway to his Blink Dagger, and that's going to be a big change. Just having that ability to jump and drag someone out of position, not going to be good for Virtus Pro at all. If they can grab a key hero and drag him out, going to be quite painful. And speaking of Midases, Furion picks his up as well. So now, I mean, of course, we've got to keep in mind, Furion, all this time with all this fighting going on, this people getting ganked left, right, so we've got to keep in mind, Furion is just completely free farming as well.
Sure.
And he scales much harder than the free farming Chen.
That's certainly true. Furion is as good as Battle Chen is, but Illidan, does he got to cut out top 7 stacks of Napalm? And yes, S4 with a good rotation, Bulldog cleaning it up. That's very close to his Blink Dagger indeed now, and any time Alchemist spends on the ground is time that you're extremely happy as the team that doesn't have the Alchemist is. Loda, of course, continuing to farm away. Where actually is Loda right now? Where is Loda? He's up top. He wants to get an S. NS actually lifts him up, telekinesis. Loda pushed back, but he's got Arrow. They clean up NS under the tower extremely quickly, and S4, he's getting the levels, he's getting the farm right now. Honestly, Alliance trying to seek to...
Oh, wow, did you see Aki in mid?
I didn't. He killed himself
Holy
with the...
crap, being ganked there by a double damage Tame My Wild.
Wow.
Getting hammered. She throws in the slow with the Shadow Strike, a level 1 slow. Unfortunately, Aki is, you know what? Denies himself with his Centaurs.
Excellent work, and he's done that so many times now. And every time, it's just tremendously important. You keep that Queen of Pain from starting to roll, keep her from using that DD rune to nefarious ends, and Alliance now up 5-4, I guess, counting that deny.
Yeah, I mean, Alliance, wow. Nice play there by Aki. Definitely going to help slow down Queen of Pain just a little bit. I mean, obviously, you want to stay alive, but best of a bad situation there. And now Aki going to find himself one of the Furbolgs. And meanwhile, top lane, how is Illidan doing? Sitting on another 1k. 62 creep and 17 denies with greed, not bad at all. He's actually going to pop his ult here, decides not to gun from Mirana though. Also, should keep in mind, Mirana actually going to pull back to the bottom line. I'm just waiting for some serious... I think they've always got to watch for is once these first tier towers get in, they've always got to watch for Mirana ulting and then S4 sort of walking up and stunning somebody. Definitely. And then opening up a huge fight. Or even Barrett walking up and lassoing someone and dragging them back.
Moonlight Shadow is definitely something that VP are going to have to watch out for because it can be a tremendous initiation tool. It doesn't break the way that Smoke does. It does not break on proximity. If you don't have detection ready, if you don't have something like a gem, you just get initiated on and you die pretty much immediately. And Alliance, they take a tower unopposed. Of course, this Dragon Knight with the living armor up, the corrosive breath, chewing through quite quickly. And VP gonna look to try to defend the tier 2 because that would maybe be a bridge too far. Tame My Wild has got the invisibility rune looping around the back. This tower already taking a lot of damage. They're going to try to pincer, start with Ake. The Sonic Wave already getting thrown out. Chen on the ground. Now, one trick that we've seen Ake do is buy back in Hand of God, but here he doesn't need it. The Moonlight Shadow will actually let them clear right out. And S4 may be seeking to reinitiate? No. Loda and EGM sieging the bottom a bit, and Alliance, I think this is the right approach. You know that Alchemist is a ticking time bomb, so pressure very, very, very hard, and that's what they're doing. They're applying pressure across 2 lanes, forcing VP to TP people back, and making sure that Illidan knows that he's got to start that clock soon.
Yeah, I mean, that said, though, he has just picked up his Shadow Blade, so now he is a big threat as well. Also, let's see what KSI is sitting on. 1600 gold, not too close to any first major item here, but I mean, obviously, now we have the invisible cocktails. That's a big threat. The question is whether or not he's going to go for it right now. He's going to bother fighting, or if he's just going to keep farming. Right now, no, it looks like he just wants to keep farming. And now Batrider has a Blink Dagger. That's looking quite dangerous indeed.
Yeah. And KSI still going for his next item, the Midas activation. We might see him start his Shadow Blade himself, if indeed they want the double Shadow Blade. Does give you the element of surprise sometimes, although it's a little bit risky when you're facing Moonlight Shadow, because what if you Shadow Blade directly into the shadowed people? Who shadows the shadows in parlance that I just invented 5 seconds ago? I
don't know, we'll see. It depends if anybody... Alliance, probably, if they want to put the pressure on, want to open up with an early gem, and that would... If they're carrying the early gem, that's a big deal. That said, of course, I mean, it's going to be... If they both Shadow Blade invis up, it could be just ships passing into the night. Neither hero's going to know that... nobody's going to know anybody's there, and it's going to run past, nobody's here and keep moving on. And it's going to be who breaks first, and I would say if they go at the same time, Mirana's is a shorter duration, so she'll be in a bit more trouble. But, anyway, we're going to see... Illidan, though, what's he going to go for next? 1400 gold once again. Hasn't bought up anything yet. Aki still working on the mech. Not too close to finishing it. Has struggled a little bit getting picked off there in some of the earlier engagements. The drums finished up on Dragon Knight. And Mirana, she has decided to go for... She went for Treads.
Just Treads,
shortly after. Yeah.
This is the best... Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, often we see the phase boots just to help her with her crappy damage.
But the Treads isn't bad either. If you're going for sort of a mid-late game carry... Oh, man, I actually missed the gank on EGM down there. But now NS and Arsart, just by the 2 of them is enough. And Arsart, once again, he really likes this Max Lightning Storm first build. And who can blame him with the amount of damage he's dealing that's unconditional on whether or not somebody's alone? Illidan, meanwhile, he Shadow Blades up. There actually is the concoction, launched from extremely long range on Loda. Now, keep in mind, it stuns at the end point. But they have nothing to follow it up with, unfortunately.
Also, I agree, like, there's nothing wrong with Treads. Both Treads or the phase boots, both perfectly viable choices on Mirana. I mean, both had their upsides.
The attack speed's nice, and the tank ability is nice, and I just think it'll be good, especially when he adds probably Manta Style on. He'll suddenly have pretty good attack speed, which is really quite good on Mirana.
Yeah, we'll see indeed. That's it. Look, big gank coming up there on Illidan. Do they have detection? I assume they must. Yeah, there we go. We've got some wards there on Chen. That's their detection. Just check if it does as well. If they open up with a Batrider Blink, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. However, he's long gone. Arrow to scout. They find nothing.
Yeah, Illidan playing smart, playing safe, and they trade towers. So 1 for 1. Actually, no, not playing safe enough. There's the blink. Illidan locked down in the lasso. Moonlight Shadow just so that they can get out of this easily if VPTP. And nice kill. Bringing the Alchemist. Now his second death. Loda is keeping up on net worth with a Grievel's Greed first maxing Alch.
Unfortunately, no way that Illidan could have known they were in there. They're smoked up. Couldn't see him. They could see him because it's daytime. Just easy, as simple as bat blinking on him and lassoing him. No chance to react at all, pretty much. Gonna say, though, that said, I mean, no defensive wards up for Virtus Pro. That's an interesting choice considering they are relying on their guy to get relying on their Alchemists to get super farmed. All their wards are spent aggressively here. They're just going to try and get this tier 2 tower.
On their way back, they find a courier. It had just delivered the Shadow Blade, so they traded the fact that KSI stayed alive for the demise of a courier. S4 jumping into trouble here. Sonic Wave already. The telekinesis, I mean, they split Earth the spot where he TP'd, and that's as good a setup as any telekinesis can possibly be. They don't even need it. They use it to finish him off, and Arsart and S come out of there. They trade the Dragon Knight. That's not so bad, honestly. Bulldog hunting. He's hunting. He puts the first Napalm down. Now, this is maxed Blink, so Tame My Wild still has a lot of options to get on out of here. He's building towards his Orchids, so he does not by any means want to die, and he gets out safely. Of course, no lasso available. They just expended it on Airman. VP, that was nice, honestly. They trade 2 towers for 1 and Airman, and they get Dragon Knight. Again, you talked about the scaling. VP, they're counting on it.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely. I think they're going to have the much harder late game. Dragon Knight's nice, but I don't think he's going to hit anywhere near as hard as Illidan will. And this was Mirana, same nice, but at the same time, I think Nature's Prophet's easily on par with her, and of course builds into the Hex, which is really, really good. Sure. Lockdown. Shows some slight frustration for Tame My Wild. His Sobi Mask is on the Courier, which is dead. For his second Oblivion stuff. That said, port to mid. Will they try and set up a gank here because they saw Mirana, and she's gone for a Yash. It looks like she's going for Manta style first.
Yeah, that's not really a surprise for this carry approach Mirana. They don't need the Diffusal by any means. Actually, Starstorm stolen by an S, that's a decent steal. It gives them a little bit more AoE damage, maybe an ability to pick somebody off quickly in a team fight, like EGM, for instance, who is the lowest level on the map, 7 as Treant. And I want to say one good news for Alliance. We talked about the levels for S4. He's getting them. He's level 11. He's keeping up with the pack. He has AoE. He still has push. And especially if he's able to hit 16 on schedule, I actually think the AoE damage is going to be quite intimidating. Ooh, Arrow hits a creep just barely. Who spoiled that shot indeed?
I'm going to say Mirana, if she's going, like, Bleak was probably, like, Absolute Legends probably the last Western team that I saw run a consistent carry Mirana, and Bleak's build, generally speaking, was Manta style into Monkey King Bar. So I'm kind of guessing we'll see the Manta style Monkey King Bar, because it's pretty much Mirana. It gives her, like, attack speed and, of course, raw damage and some more defensive spells. Because, I mean, between Leap as well. I mean, the thing is, having the Manta style as a defensive spell, that means she can leap into battle, because the big thing that people overlook is the movement speed and attack speed bonus out of the Leap, which is pretty damn good.
Uh-oh. They catch KSI. They lasso him up. They're going to take him to the high ground. Alliance, they wanted Illidan, but they'll settle for Nature's Prophet, and they'll be happy to do so. Taking control of the dire jungle in a way we haven't seen since Game 1, when it's pretty much exactly what VP did to them. So Alliance, they seek to return the favor. Airman, meanwhile, feeling quite nervous. You see him going for the BKB first. He finishes it up. He is getting the farm, but Alliance, I feel, have the balance of the map control.
I think he needs to go for the BKB first. I mean, if he gets lassoed without the BKB, he's just getting it locked down. Wow, okay, S4 taking a lot of damage. Overgrowth tossed down. The BKB tossed up first, so unfortunately, he's not going to be able to rage through it. So it looks like he is going to get cut off there. We've got a buyback there from KSI. Are they going to come back in? Looks like they are going to lose our side. He gets brought down there. Batrider going to finish him off. And now it looks like NS as well. Loda charging into the fight there with the leap, and he will finish him off. So unfortunately, Nature's Prophet buying back for nothing and just goes straight back to farming. And now the tier 3 about to get sieged, I think, and the only person home is Illidan.
A very tough fight for VP. Now 2 buybacks expended for it, and not much to show for it, frankly. The Courier came back, but Queen of Pain now doesn't have Orchid. And Alliance, they know this is their moment. Here comes an unstable concoction. They are chased out, at least temporarily, by VP, but that was a big win for Alliance. A win that really secured their ability to control this map. And VP, they had the BKB for Airman. They used it, and not much happened. He doesn't have that much damage just yet.
Well, the problem was Ammon, he BKB and then got hit by the overgrowth, so he couldn't get on point for any of that fight. And then, by the time he got free, it was like we already lost KSI, and then Leshrac was half dead. It's like, screw it, backing up there, and still got picked off anyway. Didn't get picked off, but did he? Did he buy back?
I
don't think he got picked off.
He bought back, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Alright, yeah, that is painful then.
And this is a greedy Leshrac build. I mean, Arsart already has a large part of a Bloodstone, so costing him a lot of gold is a great thing if you want to prevent his Bloodstone. They walk right over the sentry. Will Alliance punish? This is my question. Ake, he wants to get out of here. Oh, that's a really badly timed DC. Oh, that's unfortunate. Ake, oh man, that's not good. That's really unfortunate.
I was going to say 2 of them DC. They lost the Batrider as well, though I don't think Bulldog could have really turned that around all that much.
I think Bulldog would have fled, but the thing is, Ake, no way he would have been standing there. That's a really, really unfortunately timed DC. Interesting that they DC'd simultaneously. Do they have the same internet service provider?
Not a clue. I have no idea what this is. I don't even know if they have a gaming house or anything.
Why don't you know Swedish service provider jargon?
I don't know. I don't know anything.
What kind of a caster are you? I'm just kidding.
Aki's coming back. He's like, oh, what is this? Oh, shit.
Yeah. When you get disconnected, you come back and this happens. You're, how did you even get there, he asks. Well, okay, they smoked. Chen on the ground, a very unfortunate death. The arrow just wide of the mark. That actually could have been... Well, I doubt that they would have initiated on that, but maybe they seek to cause VP to overextend?
EGM now pops the overgrowth, is going to get picked up here by no telekinesis down. Actually, doesn't matter though, we'll get smacked to death there. And now Queen of Pain might have overextended. Arrow goes in, collects Illidan. Now the port comes in. S4 is here as well with the Dragon Knight. Will they decide to jump back in? Maybe, maybe not. Looks like they are going to back up here. Queen of Pain's deciding to back off.
I think it would have been an iffy fight to continue to try to pursue. Ake was almost back up. His Hand of God up in just a few seconds. He would be able to TP mech, probably hand in a few seconds. And I think that was smart of VP. Don't try to, you know... Bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush there. Or rather, 2 birds in the hand is worth the additional 3 that are near their tier 3 tower. And they're going to try to pick Roshan from this. Alliance know about this. Here comes the arrow. Lands on a creep, once again spoiling the shot. And VP are actually pretty close, but Alliance are pretty close too. Here comes Batrider. There's the lasso, but he doesn't quite... He's stunned up. He can't get Illidan out. He can't get him out. They get... Actually, the Radiant get the last hit there. Tame My Wild already on the ground. That's very unfortunate for that Queen of Pain. Illidan, he's fighting his best, but he's already taking a lot of damage. Alliance, I think they take a kill, and actually they're still chasing. They've got the Hand of God. There's Bulldogs blinking up to the high ground. Land, it hits Arsart. That's problematic. Nice telekinesis and split earth from VP, but at the very least they lose Arsart. No way Smile walks out of this safely. They want to turn it around, but I think Illidan, he's got to run. Run, Illidan, run, because the Dragon Tail is coming after you. The dust comes out for the Shadow Blade. They could get completely wiped here. At least the Aegis will fall on the high ground. Do Alliance seek to take him out? They've got Overgrowth, so I actually think they do. Uh-oh. Here it comes. There's the Overgrowth. They lock Illidan, and what a disaster that fight turned out to be for VP. Alliance, did they do this last game as well? They wait until the Aegis actually is basically coming out, and that's when they strike. And they strike hard. Well,
the problem was they knew what was happening. They didn't bother de-warding first, and, well, they saw everything.
Right. It's too late. I've seen everything.
Yep. Uh-oh, I think I just crashed. Alright, so I'll leave you to go on.
Okay.
My client just crashed.
Bulldog lassos Tame My Wild once again. Tame My Wild, he just died. He has to get out of here. We've talked about this before. He can't just start dying like this. He needs to hit his Orchid at the very least. They pick up Ake. They bring this Chen down. EGM now in trouble. It's just the supports and the Bulldog so far. So VP, they did good work there, frankly. They made the best of what was growing to be a very, very bad situation. They were down 14-10. Now it's 14-13, and Arsart participating in a bunch of kills. When you do this on the Shrek, when you try to charge for Bloodstone, you had better expect that you can actually hit it. You cannot have it constantly delayed, because they've given up teamfight items for this. They, again, have no mechanism. Alliance has the mechanism. Do they even have Urn? They don't even have an Urn, so the sustain from VP, not quite there yet, which means that this Gambit must pay off. They must get the Bloodstone on the Shrek, and they have to stabilize and make sure they don't get caught out by Alliance like that again. Triumph, you back in, my friend?
Just loading in now in a second. Probably want to warn everybody to turn me on and turn us off and then turn us back on again.
Excellent call. People, once Triumph of Man reconnects, which is right now, please feel free to turn off your in-game audio and then turn it right back on so you will be able to hear my co-caster and I'm not just yelling into a depressing void. I wouldn't want that.
Oh, I love yelling at nobody and everything. People just think I'm crazy, but there we go. Alchemist, 1600 gold. What's he gonna go for next? I really feel like they need another big item on him to keep them in this game because right now they are in dire straits. I think it's very soon. I mean, if he doesn't pick up a new item soon, or if oh, she just profit. Oh dear, oh dear. That's not a lockdown item. I think this is a problem. The fact that it's not a Hex, he's not building towards a Hex, is the fact that Mirana, now that she has the Daedalus, in fact, she just went straight for raw damage. She feels comfortable, went straight for raw damage. I think this is an issue. because they're not going to have that lockdown in the fight. And right now, Alchemist is tanky enough. They could quite possibly lose their mid-racks.
Yeah, they could quite possibly lose their Illidan Stormage if he doesn't truck the heck out of this Ancient stack. Alright. He lets Tame My Wild sit here for some XP, and I think the next Acid Spray will do a lot of work to clear this out. I agree. I mean, they need... Maybe... The thing is, the fact that Airman went this BKB, it's good. It's kept him alive a little bit. But it's no cuirass, it's no attack speed on the Alchemist. If you're expecting him to outscale the enemy team... Right now, how much of Alchemist's net worth is expended on high damage items, and how much of Mirana's is expended on high damage items? Their net worths are comparable, but Mirana has a far higher damage loadout, and I think VP are going to run into trouble with this if they can't clear out that Princess of the Moon, I believe, in Dota 2, quickly.
Yeah, Princess of the Moon. I think the only... I mean, saving grace, though, keep in mind, Mirana doesn't have a good steroid. Whereas you Chemical Rage up, suddenly a base attack time, and he is hitting so damn quick. So even though Mirana has the better raw damage, Illidan, of course, is just spitting out attacks non-stop. And you just, like, I mean, once you, like, if he gets Hyperstone next, it's like I could cast this game by getting a pot and a ladle and just smashing into the mic, just non-stop. That's what it sounds like when Alchemist starts working on somebody.
That's a good point, that's true.
Yeah. Once he gets out, and he picks up a Basher after that as well, but that said, Plate Mail, this looks like he will be grabbing up the Assault Cuirass first.
I think it's Cuirass, and then he's got to go straight for that Basher, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
That'll give them the lockdown they want, but you can't just get a naked Basher like this. He has no attack speed, even with the Chemical Rage, to actually have a consistent degree of bashing. So he has to finish the Cuirass and the Basher, and you're Alchemist, you flash farm better than just about anybody, but Alliance aren't going to let this go unnoticed. I mean, they're going to try to get you down, and S4, level 15, the last level in which he has that Corrosive Breath for the... Oh, they actually arrow Airman, but they can't do too much about it. He's a little bit too deep, but they are sieging. The Acid Spray is down, it's clearing out some of these waves, but S4, all he has to do is hit this tower occasionally, and the Corrosive Breath will do its work. Loda with a DD root as well. Loda's doing pretty good damage. We talked about how Mirana, I mean, she has crappy damage early, but once you hit the Daedalus, once you have the DD rune to work with, it's 300 pre-crit, and after a crit, it's going to just chew through, I mean, Arsart, really, who still doesn't have, actually, he's very, very close, but he's holding buyback. He's so close to that Bloodstone. I
want to make a point. Alchemist is kind of this unique position. If you lose your mid-racks and you're obviously always being pressured by the creep, it's not as bad as it could be just because you've got greed and you can work off that. But here we go. Arrow comes in, hits Arsart. They're in a lot of trouble. Chemical Rage being tossed in, hits the Bat Rider before he can lasso, gets silenced as well by the Hex. Fireflies back down. Sonic Wave comes through, but saved by the Hand of God. The Hand of Aki, indeed. Also, Mech still up. Mirana leaps out as well. They will disengage. They get the tier 3 mid, but in the end, being forced to disengage.
They get the tier 3 mid, and they get a use of the Alchemist BKB out of the way. So that's now down to 7 seconds, and I mean, obviously if you went in early BKB, it was, oh no, they throw a lot of magic damage out, and soon you're going to get to the point where, yeah, they're going to throw a lot of magic damage at you after your BKB is down, so... Illidan, they actually survive, everybody survives in that fight, honestly. Very good shutdown of Bulldog as he came in, of course. That's part of why the Orchid Malevolence was the first item from Tame My Wild. Not a defensive item, but if you can just snap that silence the instant that Bat Rider blinks in, Bat Rider's just like, I'll just be making my exit stage left.
Yeah, pretty much. He had to get the hell out of there really quickly. To be honest, just looking at that, I'm not too worried about the magic damage on Alchemist. He's fairly tanky as it is, and when he rages up, of course, he gets that extra health. So he's like sitting on 2k health, whereas it's not that much magic damage. It's more, I think, just he needs to keep the Dragon Tail out of his face. That's a really, really irritating stun. And he's going to get whacked by it like every 9 seconds. It's just going to be stun, stun, stun.
Great point.
Right in his face. And then we have mid lane, though. Aki, though, instant trouble. Here comes Dragon Tail, though, on top of KSI. Aki, though, does get stunned, gets his TP cancel, I think, as well. Silenced up. He's not going to be healing. And then we go. He goes down, but now BKB being popped by both heroes there. Aki, S4, rather, on the run. Lasso, though, blink, lasso, Storm Rage out of position now. Does he have some backup? And he will get thrown straight into an arrow. 6 seconds stun. No, being charged up there. So 5 seconds stun being charged up as well. And now Tame My Wild to boot. Dragon Tail to the face.
Dust.
And down he goes.
KSI still in trouble. 2 stacks of Napalm. Bulldog wants another. KSI, he will have the Shadow Blade in just another 5 seconds. They don't have another dust for him. He's going to try to duel. No, at best he can deny himself on Ancients here. This is trouble. Will he do it? He's actually still alive. There's the second dust coming out from another player. KSI still alive somehow. They've Orchided Bulldog. No, the Flame Break will do it. Bulldog probably trades himself here, but that's a big kill. In fact, that's a series of big kills for Alliance. VP really thought they had the better of it, but Dragon Knight. Level 16 Dragon Knight with BKB, very tanky, very scary. And S4 lives through that entire engagement and another kill on Airman, a kill that they can ill afford to give up.
Oh, definitely. I'm a big save there. Batrider coming at the right moment to free up Dragon Knight and let him get stuck straight back into that.
And the
also,
arrow.
Tree grabbing up a 4-staff.
I like this. Blink-esque, but also get somebody in position. You could also, honestly, force-staff the Batrider to just save him if he gets Orchided, or clear him out before he can even get Orchided. Also, that arrow from Loda was actually really, really cool there. He aimed it into the only point of egress from the trees. He actually did not aim it at Airman. He trusted that Airman would try to exit through the northeast, which was basically his only choice that wouldn't push him further into the tower. So, landed perfectly, and it's a big part of the reason why. I mean, that was just as his BKB expired.
Yeah, I mean, that was definitely... If he'd not landed that big stun on him, he would have probably gotten away there.
Yeah.
But... Anyway, what's he up to now item-wise? He has got that Hyperstone, so once he's got the Rage on, once his point... 2 attacks a second. That's pretty damn quick.
It is.
2 attacks a second with that, so I mean, he can really slam some damage out. If he picks up... If he can get that Basher, I mean, if he can find how much money he's sitting on... Oh, actually, no, rather, I think he'll probably finish off, obviously, the Assault Cuirass first.
Yeah, and then probably go the Basher. To me, even with Alliance's big team fight win there, this is still anyone's game. I mean, that Alchemist still has a lot of scariness to go. He hasn't been able to get that giant advantage just by virtue of out-farming. In fact, he's behind on about 4k net worth relative to Loda. But it's, you know, it's not actually the end of the world, because the plus side is he still has lots of room to grow, right? He's got the Cuirass finished now. The Basher will make a big difference. If he can get on Loda and stay on Loda, that's going to be a Mirana that's going to have difficulty actually participating.
I think it's time for Loda to buy a Rapier and feed. Let's see it. Let's see it. Let's do it.
He won't do it. He won't do it. Or maybe he will. I don't know. I mean, it's not that great with Manta style, frankly.
Yeah, they're straight edge. All the like Loda, he's had his crazy times. That was with Zenith, where Ice would make them do silly stuff.
Right.
But
would force them at gunpoint to do silly stuff.
Yeah. Like Loda and the rest of the Alliance, they're all straight edge. They play it by the book.
They do play it by the book, it's true. And they've put together some amazing by-the-book victories, and here we see them taking the Roshan. Do you think that VP, I mean, they don't even really know about this, but can they do anything about it if they do? Cuirass for Cuirass, ouch. Not great timing. When your Alchemist can't even beat the Dragon Knight to the Cuirass. Rough.
I don't think they can do a lot about this, to be dead honest. I don't know if they'll be able to... Yeah, it's gone. Dragon Knight now. I think Dragon Knight now just wants to pick up a nice big damage item. Probably his next goal. Then just grab up a nice big damage item, or even just go for a cheap damage item like a armlet.
Sure.
And that does a lot for him. Could even justify that very easily.
His attack speed is now very good with the addition of the Cuirass. Could he just also go Daedalus and give them 2 crit?
Yeah. That's definitely splash crits, of course. They really, really sting. So yeah, no, that's definitely also a viable choice, quite easily.
And Tame My Wild has just really been kept down in farm. You can see this Queen of Pain struggling to even farm better than the Batrider. She's only got 9k in net worth, trying to hold as much buyback as she can. Here comes the arrow. Do they land it? They landed on Arsart. That could be a big deal. They're already doing a tremendous amount of damage to him. He gets Dragon-tailed. Yes, Leshrac is on the ground. Ake, meanwhile, gets killed by an unstable concoction, but damage getting thrown out. Tame My Wild's on the ground. They use Moonlight Shadow just to disrupt Virtus' position. Illidan, he won't stay up. He's on the ground. He may have to buy back if they want to stay in this. Meanwhile, they continue to chase, and S dead as well. Arsart, he's just about to come up. The Bloodstone doing a little bit of work there. He actually buys back with seconds left on the clock. I'm not sure what I think about that. There's the Force Staff in for the Dragon Knight from the EGM, and that'll kill NS for sure. Uses Ghost Scepter. Not enough. Arsart pushed back into his fountain, and that's the first set of racks for Alliance. I think they want to win right now. Can they do it? There's
they'll get this for
buyback.
Sure. They've got. I mean, they just take the top racks right now. Here's the thing. If I was Arsart, he'd probably just rage buyback. If I was him, I would have flipped the goddamn table. Blind arrow in the middle of the enemy base with no goddamn sight or any inkling where any hero is, and you land a 5-second stun on Leshrac.
Yeah.
That's complete horseshit there.
That's what did it. The blind arrow is what ends up securing this for Alliance. And Loda, to his credit, he's aimed these arrows incredibly cleverly. And VP, they're going to find themselves so far behind. Alliance can't megas. They can't throne, so that's why you don't see VP GGing out. But this has set them worlds behind.
Oh, yes. No doubt about that at all. I mean, that said, I mean, you get to a point in the game where... Here's the thing, they have Furion. This is the biggest reason I think they don't want a GG, is the fact they have Furion. If they take, like, if Alliance keep... Because if they sit in here,
Sure.
Alchemist is going to get greed off all of these freaking off all of these super creeps.
That's true.
He's getting greed off all of them, so he's still going to get a decent amount of farm. Not fantastic, but it's going to be like last hitting the lane in a normal lane. Oh, hang on. Speaking of which, EGM gets silenced up, but it may be the wrong target here. They're about to get jumped. Forced up away though. Batrider now. He's going to lasso Team While he gets picked off very easily. There goes the roots as well, all over Arsad. Although steals the roots. Edo NS, nicely done. Can he counter this fight? A buyback there from Tree. I don't really know about that one, but anyway, buyback from Tree, and now they are going to be giving chase. Oh, Illidan, arrow as well. He's probably going to stun. No, he won't stun himself. Should be able to toss. Oh, he will. All right. Because you know what, Shadowblade better not break that, or it's just going to wear off. Anyway, so here we go.
But they know where he is.
Yeah.
Ouch.
There we go. That is probably game there.
That was a catastrophic
buyback.
MVP. I mean, Tame My Wild, unfortunately, Alliance have identified the weak point, and they are exploiting it mercilessly. Tame My Wild, as this game has gone on, has done less and less on Queen of Pain. If in earlier fights he would just clean up Alliance immediately with the Sonic Wave, he hasn't had a chance to Sonic Wave in several fights.
Too squishy.
Yeah, he's too dang squishy. You're exactly right, Triumph, and they're going to take advantage of that squishiness. Still no buyback up on Alchemist. He's actually, no, he does have it. He does have the buyback, but they're going to get Megas if he doesn't use it right the frick now. Here go Alliance. They're going to take down the melee racks.
I think they're just saying screw it. It's game.
It looks like they said screw it. It looks like Alliance is going to be the first back-to-back Cup champions of the Premier League Season 5, securing up the Demon Edge and the Radiance Cups. Here they go. They're going for Throne. VP do not want to GG out. They GG out. They felt as if they had it in hand. In fact, 2 games in a row that they must have felt good about. But in the end, Alliance... You can team fight. You can beat them in a team fight once. You can beat them in 3 separate team fights, but eventually they'll win, and they know how to take advantage of a team fight victory. Illidan falling just short of being able to carry out this game, and the carry Mirana growing to terrifying proportions over the course of this series, really.
I mean, you land those arrows. My God, Mirana. It's not just a carry. It's just you land the freaking arrows. They do so much. 5 seconds done.
They do. They really, really do. Load jumping into the fountain as that game ends, even as S4 finishes his Daedalus. What a series, Triumph. I mean, I feel like VP put more pressure on Alliance than I've seen a lot of teams do in a long time, taking them to the threshold of losing the series time and again. But in the end, Alliance, they're a good team.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're one of the best for sure, without a doubt. That said, I mean, an okay result for VP. They score themselves 50 points. This puts them in, like, full on into 4th place, which, that said, they are only 1 second place ahead of Fnatic in that case, so they're not completely locked in. Alliance now on 250 points after this win. They're pretty much a shoo-in for them, and EG, I think, are pretty much guaranteed to make the playoffs at this point in time. EG might get muscled out, possibly, depending on how they go. If they throw really hard in the next couple of cups, they could indeed get knocked out, but... Sure. Right now, it's going to be on Fnatic. They're going to have to really work their ass off to get back in there. Same for Quantic as well. They also need to work really hard. If Quantic, though, still got a good chance of getting... If they start landing, if they can land a big win, and I mean, Quantic are a team that can do it. If they can land like 1 big win and then a 2nd place, and can control and crush Fnatic and Virtus Pro, definitely quite possible if they make their way through as well to the playoffs as well. So they're not out of it. And Kaipi, though, I think Kaipi and Roxkiss at this point in time are pretty much out of the running and are just playing for pride. That said, I mean, Roxkiss, they put up a really good fight today, considering the amount of abuse that they've been through lately in terms of roster changes and stuff and the stand-ins. So they put up an impressive showing. So shout out to them for that. But otherwise, Alliance, again, talk of the times.
Yep. That's it, folks, for the TPL Season 5 Radiance Cup. Of course, your casters today were Vykromond and TriumphOfMan. Blaze will be back next week in his normal role, so I am taking my leave right now. But... if you want to check me out, you can do so at VYKROMOND. I have a website, so that's .com, or Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, all under the same name. My next cast, I think, is ECL, so the Chinese league that's been developing is tomorrow morning. Very, very early if you're in the US. At any rate, thank you for watching. I really appreciated it. Triumph, you want to promote your own stuff?
Good, but again, shout out to you. I mean, I enjoyed it. It was fun. I had fun casting, so thanks for jumping in there and filling in for Blaze. We had great games.
And, oh yeah, I mean, shout out to you, of course. This was fantastic. This is actually the first time we've casted together, but I had a great time, frankly. Even with the technical issues, I do want to apologize to the viewers for those. My computer has been streaming just fine and just about everything I've been doing, and then all of a sudden today, a trillion things went wrong as once. That's Murphy's Law for you, I suppose. But I hope you guys still managed to get some enjoyment out of it. Thanks to those watching in-game on the Dota TV in-game ticket. Of course, you can pick that up on the Dota store or on the TPL store, available at thepremierleague.eu. Thanks to everybody that watched in Twitch TV. I feel like you guys bore the brunt of my streaming issues here, but hopefully you got something out of the fact that we had a lot of epic series in this week's Cup. Of course, the Premier League, thanks to the sponsors, Norton, and of course the Premier League admins, Ange, Sench, all of you guys have been extremely helpful. They were supplying me constantly with brackets so that I wouldn't have to do some sort of very jerry-rigged plain text bracket action, so that was very, very nice of them. And of course, thanks to the teams, congratulations to Alliance, Virtus Pro, EG, and Quantic, the 1st through 4th placers in the Radiance Cup. That'll do it for today, folks. We may try to get an interview with one of the winners, so one of the players of Alliance. I'm going to start trying to set that up right now. I don't know if it'll happen. We had some pretty long series, so it is getting very, very late in Sweden. Not as late as it is in Russia, so I'm sure VP are glad they don't have to be subject to that. But we'll see what we can get going. Any last thoughts, Triumph?
None really. That was great games. I mean, Tree all freaking night.
All night.
Tree, my god.
All night.
I love it. It's fun.
I love it too, frankly. The haters, a certain other Australian caster really hates Treant Protector, and I would just say, eat your heart out, gods. Eat your freaking heart out.
Oh, gods, I love you too.
Alright, that'll close
so
it up, folks. Let's go to maybe an interview, maybe we'll just sign off, but at any rate, thank you guys once again for watching. See you next week, or I don't know if I'll see you next week, but we collectively will see you next week.
Oh, yeah.